after the training.
Yeah, I've started recording.
Okay, so welcome everyone to the event called Turning Your Professional Ideas into Monetizable Digital Assets with AI. And during this whole training program, we'll be explaining how you can turn your professional assets into innovative ideas that can earn you some form of income using AI. For those that are going to be part of the event, you get the opportunity to ask questions and get your own understanding of how this works. But for those that are not present now, we will make this content available so that you can watch it later on and also learn from it. So it's possible that you're going to be seeing this content on social media or on other various platforms. We hope to be able to do more of these kind of trainings to be able to help you see ways to create some form of assets, monetizable assets, using AI. And to be able to do this, we have someone that is of great experience within both tech and, more importantly, artificial intelligence. We have Mr. Richard Aware on board. Now, let me stop sharing the screen so that you'll be able to see Mr. Richard Aware, and in that way we'll be able to understand more. And so I will allow Mr. Aware to just explain to you a bit about himself, and we will try our best to make sure that we're able to do this training within an hour. So within an hour, for whoever is watching it, we'll be able to just take an hour, go through this training, and see how you can use artificial intelligence to build monetizable assets. So Mr. Aware is going to be taking us through a product called DocuHelp, and is going to be using this product to be able to explain ways in which you can, build digital assets, most importantly, digital documents for both at a personal level and at a business level. And it will also explain other AI tools and other tools available that you can combine with DocuHelp to achieve that goal. So for those of you watching, you're going to enjoy it. For those of you that's going to be watching the recording later on, you're also going to enjoy it. So over to you, Mr. Richard Awe.
Okay, thanks, Tunde. My name is Richard Awe. I run a company called 3D7 Technologies, and we build AI systems. And we've been working on a few projects in the past. For some who have been following us, we started with a product called Recustry, but now we also have a product called DocuHelp. And what does DocuHelp do? It just helps businesses write documents from proposals to blogs to letters to contracts. And there's a whole range involved in there. And we're rolling out some features in the next few months, features around writing social media posts as a business. So you take some news insights and you'll be able to write business posts based on, you'll be able to write social media posts based on what your business does. And there are some other features that we're ideating and coming up with, like invoices is also one of that. You finish a job, you just had a few comments into a prompt, and it generates an invoice that you can actually share immediately with those that you've done some work for. But while we'll be talking about DocWelp a bit and then some other tools, the session today is to talk around how you can turn those great ideas that you have into something that is an asset and something that you can monetize. And that is one of the promise of AI as a tool. It's a tool, and I keep reiterating that to so many people. But that tool can get you from 0 to 1. It can help you quickly do stuff that you need to do. For instance, so many of us procrastinate, and one of the things that an AI does is to be that assistant that you can say, okay, I've been thinking of this. How can I go about this? And it will help you generate a few steps for achieving those things that you have set out to. So it's going to be a great and wonderful session. Like Tunde said, we'll try and keep this to 1 hour so that we can touch on as many things as possible. And then we'll show you DocuHelp as a tool. If you want, you could go ahead and download it and use it for, you can go ahead and log in and use it for a few days to understand some of the features and some of those bright ideas that you've got. You could just some of those bright ideas that you have, you could just quickly turn them around. Okay. Tunde, how should we start to play this? Should I start,
Um,
or do you want to
so
start with a background into the monetizable assets?
yes, so I think what I will quickly do is so that we can give a bit of structure to how this training will quickly go and how it will be beneficial for everyone that's enjoying that this content would be that I would explain a bit about how you can actually generate these ideas. How can you come up with these ideas? How can these ideas, how do you find those ideas that work? Because one thing is to have an AI tool that explains, the things that you can do. But the other part is, first of all, to figure out what idea you even applying yourself to. So I'm going to quickly explain some ways I think you can find those ideas so that when Mr. Richard explains to you how to then create digital assets around that ideas, it kind of sinks in place. So I'm going to quickly show you my slide. And okay, quickly. Okay, so turning your professional ideas into monetizable digital assets with AI, we're going to talk about quickly about ideation and innovation strategies. So there are three ways in which I'm going to quickly explain to you how you can even generate your ideas. How can you come up with an idea that you can use? How do you come up with an idea that you can make some income from? How do you come up with an idea that you can plug into an AI tool to give you the kind of results that you require? So these are the three ways I think you can quickly work on it. Now, there are so many other innovation steps out there, but this one I think works. And if you work with me on it, you might just learn more about it. So the first one there is the mapping strategy. Now, the mapping strategy essentially is about ways in which you can combine various things that you know that works for you together and creatively ideate around it. Now, what I'm trying to say in essence is this. I believe that every individual has different attributes about who they are. And these attributes range from things like your skill, your experience, your network reach, your passion, your personality type, your thinking style, your hobbies. All these things are attributes about who you are. What the mapping strategy says, or what the mapping strategy evolves to be, would be you listing out all those attributes about yourself and start seeing where and how do they connect. So how does my experience connect to my skill? How does my skill connect to my hobby? How does my passion connect to my personality type? Creatively looking at all the attributes you have and seeing how they connect helps for you to be able to come up with ideas of things you can do. So, take for instance, if I have a skill in, let's say, web development, and I have an experience in logistics, I've worked in a logistic company before, I can connect my skill of web development around my experience in logistics to say, well, maybe I can teach people within the logistics space or the logistics sector how they can use technology because I have a skill in web development on how to build solutions that they will need in their sector. So, what you've done essentially is to take an experience in a space, a skill in another space, combine them together to come up with an idea of a solution or an idea of a product that you can create. So that is the mapping strategy, combining various aspects of you and attributes of you and seeing which one of them stick. How do they combine to create an idea? The second part is the layering strategy. Now, the layering strategy essentially is for you to figure out what is your strongest point of advantage. So, take for instance, if your strongest point of advantage is your passion, if you are extremely passionate about a certain thing, You can layer on that passion, you can layer various other attributes of yourself around that passion. So essentially, it means you've taken your strongest advantage, which is, take for instance, painting. You love painting. It's just where you are. That is where your passion is. Layering on that painting with other skills or other experiences you have allows for you to then end up creating a unique selling point, a unique advantage, a competitive edge in the marketplace. So the layering strategy is, again, taking the base, something you're really good at, something that undoubtedly you are very good at, and then adding other attributes to it to make sense of it, to make it different. The difference between the mapping and the layering is, though both of them allows for you to combine your attributes, the mapping does not need for you to be strong at one thing. It just looks for how to combine complementary or attributes that can be combined together. Layering, on the other end, is about taking your strongest point of advantage and then adding on it. And then the last part of ways in which you can come up with ideas of digital assets you can build is to focus on solving problems that you've identified within your place of interest or experience. Now, I think every one of us have a form of, a place of experience, a place of interest, something that you enjoy doing or something that you've been doing for long. But more times than not, you end up identifying problems that are within that space. Now, finding those problems and trying to solve them using a digital asset is another way of coming up with great ideas. So take, for instance, if you are in the cooking business or in the culinary business for the past, let's say, 10 years, you might identify that there is a particular problem that comes up with regards to people not being able to cook properly. Now, this is not just about you just teaching people to cook. You are actually identifying a problem based on the amount of time you've spent in that space, and then being able to take the understanding of that problem to create a solution. So, digital assets, basically, we're saying taking that problem in that space and creating a digital asset around it. These are three strategies you can use to come up with ideas. So, if you're struggling to figure out what idea to start with, I would encourage you to look at one of those three. Either you're mapping attributes together, or you're taking the strongest attribute you have and you're layering on it other attributes, or you're looking closely into the things that you are good at, or the things that you've been around for a long while, and identifying problems within it to create a digital solution or a digital asset around it. And that is about it. That is about how to ideate. But now, the next thing I just want to quickly explain is, how do you think through which idea to start? Because there is that part where in which you've come up with so many ideas, you've generated so many different ways you could solve a problem, or you've come up with different things, but you have to then decide which one to go with. Which one do I start with? Now, there are three things to first of all establish. What is the result type? What kind of results is your ideas coming up with? Are you meeting a need? Are you solving a problem? Or are you creating a better experience? Being able to know the kind of results you want to achieve would help you figure out which one would be most likely good enough to start with. So, meeting a need is saying there is an existing need for more people to do these things, meaning there's already somebody doing it, but there's still a need for more to be done in that space. That is ways in which you could start by meeting a need. Solving a problem is saying there is a pain point, there's something that people are frustrated about, and I can create a digital asset to solve this. Creating a better experience is to say people can enjoy this thing a bit more this way, which with regards to the way I would go about it. So you, more times than not, you need to establish quick enough which one of these three things are you trying to create with the solution you're trying to build or the digital asset you're trying to create. So am I meeting a need? That means making it better than what it already is. Am I solving a problem? Is there a pain point in that space? Or am I creating a better experience? Am I pouring myself to just make people enjoy what it is that is already existing? Now, that is the first thing you need to understand. Now that you've understood that, you now have to ask yourself, based on your skills, your experience, your network reach, which one of the ideas am I more likely to do best at? So, take for instance, if you are somebody who is into the culinary space again, You want to be sure that if you are creating a digital asset around the culinary space, you have either a very good experience in it, you have skills in it, or you know people in that space. Now, understand, we are going to use artificial intelligence to improve the process of which these things can be created. Meaning, you might not even have experience in the culinary space and still use AI to generate great ideas, but it becomes better when you have a base knowledge, either a base skill, a base experience, a base network reach, and then use AI to improve on that which you've created or improve on that which you are hoping to solve. So that is the beauty of AI. And Mr. Richard is going to explain how that works using DocuHelp, because DocuHelp generally helps you create digital documents. And digital documents are one of the many digital assets you can create. And we hope to be able to explain to you more of these digital assets. But one of it is a digital document. Now, my point of what I'm trying to explain at this point is gauging your capacity is identifying what it is you're good at in achieving that which you want to create, so that when you then layer it on with artificial intelligence, the experience goes exponential. You're able to do more. You're able to blow people's minds, because that's what AI does. AI takes that which you are good at and then multiplies it. It makes it better. So, but you need to have that base part. So gauge your own capacity, see which one you have the strongest, capacity to deliver, and then AI can then help blow it up. And then the last part is prioritizing the idea. How do you choose which idea to go with? How do you do that? And then the way I would say you should try to do that is use the capacity to result ratio. Now, capacity to result is saying, what are the capacities I have, and to what extent can that result, drive? Meaning, if I'm good at painting, right? I'm a good painter, and I want to teach people how to paint the way I paint. So in essence, I'm trying to create a digital asset, a digital document to teach people on how to paint. I need to ask myself, in what way is this going to give result? What result is this going to give? Is it going to impact more people, or is it going to impact less people? Do people really need to be taught, or people need to be shown? That is capacity to result ratio. You asking yourself the question of what is it that I can bring to the table, and what kind of result will it bring? Because if you have the idea of painting, but then you also have the idea of the culinary one, meaning that you enjoy cooking and you've been doing this for a while, you paint, but you also cook, you then have to ask yourself, which one of the two should I go for? And then, and that's why I said prioritizing idea using the capacity to result ratio is saying, I can paint, I like painting, but to what extent can I deliver? That is, what capacity do I have? And to what extent is that result going to measure out? Am I really even solving a problem, or am I creating a better experience? Am I meeting a need? You evaluate that based on the painting part, but then you could also evaluate the same one based on culinary, based on cooking. And then you need to then ask yourself, which one should I go, which one should I create first? Because ideas could be so many when you try to creatively identify them, but you have to prioritize so that you know which one to create first. So these are the things to think through, think through which idea to start from, or which idea to start with. Now, I'm going to quickly explain to you the various digital assets out there. Now, there are so many digital assets to create. The digital space is so enormous, it's so big, and everyone has a place in it. Everyone has the capacity to create something that will add value. But we're going to just look into some of these digital assets. I'm looking at four, but there are over 24 digital assets that we have listed. But we're going to just look at four for now. And the four that we're looking at is digital documents, multimedia content, online courses, digital currencies. Digital documents essentially has to do with things like ebooks, e-guides, tutorials, anything that at the end of the day can be printed out into a document or can be made into a paperless document is a digital document, so to say. So Doc will help is sitting in that space. Doc will help is a great tool in ensuring that you can create digital documents. And as I've said, we'll be explaining a bit more about that. But aside digital documents, we're looking at multimedia content too. People who create videos, who create audio files, who create animations. These are multimedia contents that are digital assets that you can create and you can also monetize. We also then have online courses. This again is similar to multimedia content, but more times than not, it's the only variation there. It is specific to being able to teach people skills, and it can have a combination of different content. So it could have a combination of both multimedia and both digital assets all come together to be able to deliver on online courses. And that, the last one here that we're explaining, even though there are much more digital assets, is the digital currencies. Digital currencies have become big. There's a lot of things going on within the digital currency space that is making a lot of people a lot of income. People are making digital art and they are selling those art using digital currencies. They're monetizing using that to be able to earn some income. So I would employ that whatever it is you have as a professional idea or a professional skill, you need to start thinking of digitalizing it, turn it turning it into a digital asset. I know you're doing it 9 to 5. I know you're doing it as a passion project. I know you're doing it, as something that you just have interest in. But you need to start thinking now on how to create an asset around it. You don't know to what extent or to what extent people will engage with it or would want it, but that doesn't matter. What matters is start thinking in terms of assets and instead of thinking in terms of just something you can do, and start thinking about creating it. So based on that, I'm going to bring back Mr. Richard Aware, and he would explain the whole process of you creating digital documents around those things that you have, as a gift or as a asset or as an ability or as a skill or as an experience. You could turn anything and everything into a digital asset. You just have to be creative about it and you can earn from it also. So he's going to explain to you, and he's also going to showcase one that he has done. Is he Something beautiful about Mr. Richard Aware is whenever he thinks of an idea, he uses his product first to be able to blow up the idea. So we were talking last time and he told me about he went to the restaurant, an Italian restaurant, and he was having a nice meal there, and he was with his computer, and just at that point in time he just felt, why wouldn't I not just create a document about my experience here, just create a document, in the moment. And what happened, he used Doku Help to create that document. He sent it to me, and I was like, wow, if we could document every experience we went through, everything we found interesting, everything we were passionate about, if we could create it to a document and we're able to share it to others, imagine how much income that could be. But also imagine how much value that could create. So let me hands down and let me place it into Mr. Richard Aware's hands for him to continue, with this discussion.
Thanks a lot, Tunde. I appreciate. Let me just quickly share my screen so I can talk us through a few items. Just by way of quick disclosure, Femi, who is on, works at my company, 3D7 Technologies. And I've just got to take my son to a place in about 5 minutes. So Femi might help continue with some aspects of the slide, just for around 10 minutes, or maybe if we want to have a break, and then we'll just quickly come back and I'll be able to also showcase a few more things to us. But let's quickly start. So thanks, Tunde, for all that. I like that aspect about mapping, layering, and identifying unmet needs. One of the greatest things we struggle with as human beings is procrastination. So you've got this wonderful idea, but because you've not got time, you just quickly procrastinate. I don't know if some of us listened to the podcast me and Tunde did, and I'm sure that will still come up at some point. But one of the greatest thing the human mind has also created is assistance for itself. The brain does not work 24/7 by itself alone. There's always need for you to have an assistant to do one chore or just to do tasks that you're not finding interesting. And believe me, that is the promise of AI. It's a tool, it's an assistant, and I think we need to start using it as much as possible. It's a tool, it's an assistant, it's there. It's mostly free in some form. In some other format, mostly it's mostly affordable. So sometimes you have this idea, oh, I want to write this beautiful article, or I want to write this beautiful text around this on this beautiful subject. And then because we've not because there's no time or because of a few other things, we just don't get to do it. And that's what AI does. I use it a lot these days. And if you follow me on LinkedIn, you'll see most of my posts. I've got this rubbish idea or whatever. I put it into DocuHelp. It generates an item. I edit it a bit. It's not exactly my voice, but it gets my idea out there, and it helps me to come back to work on it. And this is one of those things why we wanted to run this workshop where you've got a professional, you've got an idea. It could be something new, it could be something that you want to merge together. It's not formed very well, but you could just throw it into an AI, generate some initial start, and then go along with it. So that's the promise of AI, and I think we need to start using that. Okay, so I'll quickly talk around this just to check. Femi, are you okay with helping to continue in a bit of this while I
I'm
quickly nip out?
sorry, Mr. Richard. I think I
Yeah.
still have one more slide to explain.
Okay.
So I could jump on my slide and quickly
Okay.
explain that, and then maybe by that time
Okay.
you'll be.
By that time I'll be back. That's perfect. But yeah,
All
Femi
right.
knows DocuHelp is
Yeah.
he's been throwing around DocuHelp for a few days, so he'll be able to help. But when I come back, we'll also go. I'll be on with my phone, but I might just not be able to talk. I just need to walk him into a place for 5 minutes. So um, let me just define this slide. Artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence processes by machines, especially computer systems. Essentially, it says what you would normally do, an AI can help you do it. And so you want to write a 100-page document, an AI can help you write it. It will write it for you in 10 seconds. It will write as many things that you want to write in 10 seconds. You've got this idea, you could throw it into it, and it could generate just the premise of that idea. And it's like I said, it's a tool. It's something that you can use to just bring some ideas to life. It takes away some level of procrastination from you because instead of saying, okay, I'll do it tomorrow, I need to write this document, I need to generate this design, I need to do this. It could take that away, and you could easily, quickly get into doing what needs to be done. There are different applications, natural language processing, ones that speak the way we speak, machine learning, the ones that learn around how different tasks are done and it carries it out. Computer vision, so I'm sure some of us would have seen um, where an AI is able to define what it's looking at. They've worked. It's mathematics in motion where it takes whatever pixel it's looking at, generates it into ones and zeros, grades it in, and tries to explain what it's seeing. Predictive analytics is one aspect also where it looks at what you're trying to do, and based on patterns in the past, it predicts what's coming in the future. Robotics and speech recognition are also different aspects of artificial intelligence that can be applied. So I just wanted to also quickly run through this slide, and then when I'm back, we'll now start to look at why you should use AI, how useful it is as a tool, and the promise of what DocWell can offer. What we built with DocWell, we'll have just a quick short demo, and I'll show you what DocWell can do. Okay. I'll hand you
Yeah,
back to Tunde.
yeah.
I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is good. I think you guys already got a bit of a taster of how Doc Help is gonna be, actually helping to deliver on the product creation, because the goal of the whole thing is not only for you to identify the kind of things that you can create, but also to be able to understand what kind of tools you can use to create it. So, but before we go into it, and before Femi jumps in on explaining more about Doc Help, I just have one more slide that I missed out on that I wanted to explain to you guys, and I think it's just going to be able to help you understand a bit more about why you're actually going down this process. So I'm going to quickly share that screen and I'll talk you through it. Now, the question here, or the hope of what this slide is trying to explain, is how do you then leverage those digital assets that we hope to create? So we've explained the various digital assets that can be created. We've explained why you need to be able to take everything that works for you with regards to your thought process, your skill, your experience, your network reach. We've seen, look, you could take any one of these things and create an asset around it. And if you've been listening to all these financial educational kind of materials out there, there's always a lot of talk about increasing assets, reducing liability, increasing asset, reducing liability. And more times than not, the painful part is many of the assets that they will talk about you being able to create requires a lot of capital. So we're talking of capital with regards to being able to raise money to either buy stock, raise money to buy shares, raise money to own a property. All these things require a large amount of investment to be able to own an asset. But what we're trying to see here, or what we are hoping to be able to achieve here, is to say, how do you take your professional, you know, capacity, professional skills, professional experience, which you don't, that you already own, and turn that into an asset. Now, one of the assets you've naturally turned that into is where you work. When you go 9 to 5, you are actually pouring your professional asset into another company and they're paying you every month. But think about it for 1 second. How about you taking that same professional asset, that professional skill, and putting it in the hands of a tool that allows for you to make that asset available to many people at a time? So instead of it being accessible to just the company you work for, how do I convert that asset and make it accessible to many people and earn in such a way that it doesn't have to require for me to put my 9 to 5 time there? So what I'm saying in essence is, how do I turn that asset into a digital asset, place it on a digital platform, allow for it to earn for me when I am not there physically? Meaning, again, let's get this flow right because it's important. And I think the reasons why it's important is it helps you to understand that it's time for you to take some action in that direction. You have a skill, you have an experience, you have a thought process, you have something that has been, in your mind, or something that's been troubling your mind, and you believe that you can either create a solution to it, meet a need, solve a problem, or create a better experience around something. Creating a digital asset around it means that what you've done is to take what it is you are able to do, create a solution around it, but place it in a digital space that allows for anyone, anywhere, any point in time to engage with it, and more times than not, pay you for it. So, leveraging your digital assets, the first thing you need to think about is doing it this way instead of the 9 to 5 way. Doing it this way earns you what people will call a passive income. And there's always this debate on what is passive and what is not. People always kind of use the word passive to mean that you do not do anything. Actually, what passive actually means is it is not a direct result of the amount of time you put into it. That means you actually would put in some time, you would put in some effort, but it means that what it is you earn is not a indirect correlation to the time you've put in. That's just what passive means. So meaning that it's not whatever it is you create as a digital asset, you're not earning back from it based on the time you've put into it. Meaning you could create something that is valuable to someone within 2 hours, and the amount you will make from it is more than what a conventional business will pay you for a 9 to 5. So if a company pays you, let's take for instance from a 9 to 5 a day's job, you're on an average, let's say 85 to £100 or $100, which is I think is what most companies will offer at a base level. If you create a digital asset with and a 9 to 5 is, let's say, 8 hours work, right? If we created a digital asset in 8 hours, you have the capacity to earn more than 100, but you also have the capacity to earn more than that 100 over a long period of time. Meaning, digital assets give a passive income, not in the sense that you do not put in time, but the time in which you put in is not what you are getting back from. You're not paid for that time anymore. You are paid over time as many times as possible. And so that is why I think creating digital assets is important. Based on just telling you this, for the past 1 month, I've been thinking about what digital asset would be the best for me to create. And take for instance, I wrote a book, and I wrote a book of nearly 200 pages. Some of it I wrote based on my own understanding. Some of it I was able to leverage the use of digital tools. Sorry, combination of Doku Help, combination of ChatGPT, combination of various AI tools out there to be able to create a digital asset. So what I'm saying here is this: you will make passive income better, or you will make continuous recurring income better on a digital asset than on a time-based asset, which is going in 9 to 5. The second thing there is audience engagement. Now, the way in which we engage with people is changing. The idea that you can just walk up to a space or walk up to a place and then have people just, talk you through, engaging with people just because you have them physically present is changing. People now engage better over a platform that is digital. Why? Because they can carry their digital device anywhere they are. Meaning, you could be on your way to a trip, you could be in a bus, you could be in a car, you could be far away from where everyone is, but you can still connect with them. Creating a digital asset allows for you to also use that asset to create digital engagement, digital followership. Meaning, if I create a digital book, I'm putting it on a digital platform, and I'm having people connect to me digitally around it. So I'm selling it on, let's say, Gumroad, I'm selling it on Amazon, I'm selling it on anywhere, and I'm telling them, look, this is my website, or this is my social media account, or this, whatever it is that people can reach me from. I can build that audience around my digital product or my digital asset. So take, for instance, the content we're creating today. We have people coming to listen to it at this time, during this period of time. But one thing we are going to do is take this same content and create more digital assets around it. That means we'll create videos around it, we'll create animation around it, we'll create audio files around it, and we will share it in different ways on different platforms, building an audience around this engagement we are doing today. So what I'm trying to say in essence is this: whenever you create a digital asset, you can also create a digital audience, an audience around what it is you've built, and you can build followership around it. So as I've said, with this conversation we have today, we are going to sit down and we are going to build an audience, an engagement. People are going to see this after today for the next, God knows, as long as we leave it on the digital space. As long as we leave it on the digital space, 10 years from now, people are going to listen to what it is we're saying today and connect with it. And take, for instance, if after this we said, oh, you know what, pay me this to be able to do this for you, it means that outside of this time zone, outside of this exact time and place, people can still engage and still be able to pay us for whatever it is that we create during this process. So, audience engagement is one of the things that you can build around your digital assets. The beauty of it again is the fact that when you build these digital assets, when you build it, the time in which you build it, you don't need to have everyone available. That's the beauty of it. If you were to compare it with physical meetings, you would want to have everyone together to maximize whatever it is you want with regards to those people around. So if I have 10 people around, it means that I only have 10 people that I can add value to at that point in time. It means that the maximum number of people that can pay for what it is I'm doing is 10. When you create a digital asset or create a digital engagement, you can turn that engagement into 1,000 people over the next 1 month. Meaning, this engagement we are having now, we could build an audience for the next 6 months around the content we create, which is also a digital asset that keeps growing even after doing it a month before. So, leveraging that digital asset with regards to understanding that whenever you create your digital asset, you also have the capacity to create an audience around it. And last but not the least, there in leveraging your digital asset is you can establish yourself as a leader in that field. You don't always even have to look at it as from a leader point of view, but you can establish yourself as a voice in that field, meaning that you can become someone that other people would have to reach out to for insight, for knowledge on how things work. People will have to come to you and say, can you explain to us how this works? Because you've established yourself through the content you create in this digital space. And that those three things are things I need you to always think about while we go down into training people now, as Mr. Richard will be explaining to you how to use Doc will help, think of it that whatever it is you create carries those three potentials, meaning it carries the potential of making you income over time. It carries the potential of you creating content that you can share with others, and it carries the potential of you being a thought leader in that space. So back to you, Mr. Richard.
Thank you so much, Femi. And Tunde, thank you. Thanks for stepping in and helping with some of that. And so let me quickly go back to my slide. I know we've spoken about AI and the various promises it brings, but in terms of creating this digital asset, and I like the fact that Tunde had shown you what you can use it for at scale. I would want to talk about what AI brings into the picture. And when we talk about digital assets, like we've been hammering on since morning, one of the things that you can look out for, like I would mention, creation of books, creation of movies, for instance. I know some of us, maybe I think weirdly sometimes, though. I think some of us would think, I'd like to write a biographical history around this particular thing or that particular thing. So you drive past the place, you're not sure what it is about, and you just want to write something about it. Instead of procrastinating and saying, okay, I'll get around to it, or even those pesky notes that we all have where you're just writing stuff that you want to do into, you could just use an AI tool to say, okay, write me a book outline around this topic or that topic, around this subject or that subject. And then you can quickly build on that. You can build on it and write it within 15 minutes. You have a 10-page book. That's a start. And then you could also just add the human touch to it. I know for one, I've always wanted to to do a genealogical trace of my roots and all that and to document it. And one of the things I've used AI for is just to start the scratch to say, okay, if I'm going to do something like this, what do I need to research? What do I need to get on to do? And then you could create a very wonderful and efficient list of things that you want to work on. So what's the rationale for incorporating AI in digital asset building? So those digital assets that we've been talking about, efficiency and scale. So with automation and streamlining, you could scale what you're building. The example that Sunday mentioned of the Italian restaurant, and I'll show you the book I finally came up with. I had a 28-page book in less than 45 minutes. Now, AI generated most. I just had to do so many rearrangements. I eventually went into Canva to get pictures, but it just came. Now, I don't know if anybody has seen me. I don't look like the average Italian, and I don't have all the knowledge around Italian cuisine or Italian restaurant. But it was something I just felt, yeah, I could put this together. and I was able to do within a few minutes. And that's the promise of AI. And there are so many tools out there. One other rationale is personalization. You can, for some of us who are AI nerds or open AI nerds, you will see they've released new models. With those new models, you could get a group of data and just throw it in, and it will just keep on coming to you with insights, even from angles that you've never thought about. And you can use it to also personalize your content. So, for instance, you're from a particular area of a country, or you're from a particular tribe, or you're from a particular ethnic group, and you're thinking, oh, we don't get stories about this particular ethnic group, does not get pushed out enough. You could use AI algorithms or use AI systems to say, okay, I want to write about this particular set of people. Can you help me? And it will start giving you things that you need, and you could just target that at that particular set of people so that you could get their engagement. And just imagine, there's a group of people where nobody has ever written about them, nobody knows them. I think the last time we checked in Nigeria, there are 250 different tribes, different languages, and all that. And imagine you set yourself a target to create a digital content around, say, converting the Bible into a particular language that nobody knows, and there's no Bible known for that language, or even a particular book. And then you train an AI algorithm to learn that language, and you take the whole corpus of that book and you throw it into it. Imagine what you will get. I know there are some people who, I don't know if we follow this lady on Instagram that breaks down artificial intelligence and machine learning into Yoruba, and she creates content out of it. You could be the one creating you could be the one creating a programming language in a particular language. For instance, this is one of those weird ideas I've been thinking about. So many of us will know SQL. Now, imagine and SQL is basically English. It's just English, and it's a language used in speaking to databases, but it's just in English. Imagine somebody takes it upon themselves to change every SQL syntax into their native language. So if I want to speak to a database, instead of speaking select this column and this row and join it with this column and this row, and imagine that is in Yoruba, select whatever select means in Yoruba, and you switch that around. So there's so many opportunities for where you can incorporate AI, even things that are just your weird thoughts. Or you can just say, oh, AI, can I actually do this? And how do I go about doing this? And it will get you, it's been trained on so many languages, it's been trained on so many corpus, on so many texts, and it could help you in bringing that out. So it's not just in creating the digital asset alone, but we'll also talk into how to get it in front of people later in during this training. Insights and optimization is another thing that AI can help you with. If you're building for a particular audience, or if you're building for a particular set of people, you could always let it know that, look, I'm creating this product, I'm creating this. My target is just people within the age of 30 and 40-year-old living in this particular location. And it will always just come up with that streamlined version of what you're trying to do. Now, imagine you've got a database of those set of people and you're trying to market to them. And what you're generating is being streamlined to that set and target of people. Imagine the outcomes that that will come your way. Another reason why you need to incorporate AI into your digital asset is, look, it gives you some competitive advantage. All major companies are incorporating AI in one way or the other. So if you're in your own personal capacity and you're sitting down and you're not, your digital asset building is not using the latest tool in town, then you should know that you're not being in the market and you're not being in the scheme of things. Okay? So Tunde has spoken to you guys around DocuHelp. a lot. And we'll go into DocuHelp now, but I want to quickly bring out something to show you, and I know you have spoken about this also. Let me quickly bring out. Give me 1 minute. Let me bring that up. Just give me a minute. Coming up. This is one of the challenge of having too many documents open. You usually
So
don't find it.
whenever there's so many things that you're
So
running
many,
at your
so many
PC.
things that you're running around at the same time. So, um,
I also find myself in that situation a lot. I have so
yeah.
many things I want to tell people about or talk about, and before I know it, I'm like, where is that file? Where is that document and all that? I think there should be an AI tool that can even help with regards to that.
But yeah, there should be. There is a Siri or whatever on my laptop that I can say, oh, help me bring out this document. But when you're in a presentation mode, also, it's
Yeah,
just a bit of
it's a bit different.
okay. I'll get it. I think I found it already. But let me quickly show everyone DocuHelp. Let me stop sharing this and show everybody DocuHelp on a browser, and I'll show everybody DocuHelp when you log in. Now, I know we started, we've spoken about DocuHelp a bit. It's a product that we built with, it's a product that we built, but I must say it is not the only AI tool out there. So please note that there are so many other AI tools. We built this targeting companies, but there are some other use cases for individuals, and I'll go into those use cases for individuals. But it helps write documents. I'll quickly talk about the differences between, and because we get this question a lot. Okay, well, what makes you guys different from ChatGPT? ChatGPT does not allow you to save a document into PDF. This allows you to do that. ChatGPT does not allow you to edit what the AI has generated. DocuWell does that. So you generate something, you want to take out a context, you want to take out whatever you don't like or whatever, or you want to put in your own stuff. Yes, DocuHelp helps you to do that, but it's targeted at generating documents. So it's not just text. So the thinking around DocuWelp is your business. You need to write a proposal. You need to write a blog for your company. You need to write a letter. You need to write some contracts. Um, you need to write some description of your product. That is what DocuWelp helps you with. But we're also extending the product line a bit. So soon on DocuWelp, you'll be able to write social media posts for your brand. So your brand, you're coming out, or you see a news article that is trending. So we'll have some trending news or some news items on DocuWelp, and you see some news item that is trending, and you want to jump on that trend as a brand. Within DocuWelp, you'll just be able to say, look, generate me a social media post around this news and then you'll be able to generate that and then post on your social media channels, or you see something, generate me some social media post for LinkedIn for this news item around my brand, and it will weave it up. Now, one of the things I encourage and one of the things I do, and I'll show you in a few minutes also, is AI would not generally give you everything you want. But it will give you some guidance, and you should always look to edit what it gives you so that it sounds like your voice. In the future, there will be AI systems that will be built that would actually be able to speak like you. So there will be ones. If anyone follows us on social media on, I think Instagram, there was a news that we posted on our Instagram yesterday around somebody, a company built an AI for a person, and the AI and the person who they built it for was interviewing his AI version, and there was an interaction, but it's only as much as the AI has read. So most times you should be able to edit what what an AI system gives to you. But like I said, it's a tool. It gives you an advantage. It helps you stop procrastinating. It's a great assistance to have. If you're in business, you need to be using some form of AI to help you get the edge. Okay, so to to get started, it takes you to login in page and you put in your name and your work email, and you usually sign in with your work email. But I'm signed into our company one, the one for 3D7, and I'll use that for this demo. So this is what you get once you get to into the dashboard within DocuHelp. Now,
So
for the guys
what,
online, yeah,
what,
you are going to say
what,
something.
yeah. Also for if you don't have a work email, because I've used it without a work
Yeah,
email, it's still allowed for me to create content around it. So
yes,
it, I guess it's not just for people who want to use their company email, especially for people who need it for like personal use.
yeah.
I've used it without my work email, so I believe that the product allows for every one of us to
It
use, right?
allows for everyone. It's not just your work email. We opened that up after a few months, but actually, we're coming up with the individual one. So there's an individual instance of DocWeb that's coming. So just targeted at individuals. It will be at the link app.docwell.ai. And with that one, you just use your Gmail. I think we've only created it for you to use your Gmail. So once you put in your Gmail, it just logs you in. And then it doesn't give you, it doesn't, it takes away a few of the corporate setup that we had, because we also got some feedback around individuals just wanting to easily log in and just generate or create documents, even if they are not a business. But the initial premise when we built DocuWelp was for businesses. But yes, like Tunde said, if you don't have a work email, if you have a Gmail or Yahoo, if you create an account, it will go through. So like I said, this is our own, this is our 3D7 Tech. When you create yours, it will carry your business name right in front of it. So let's create a new document. For those online, anyone has any idea of what they would like us to create? I'd like to get that feedback. Anyone online, if you want to speak out or if you want to type, what kind of documents would you like us to create? We've got these ones for now. What would you like to write today? Blog post, letter, product description, or contract? But some more are coming in here. You'll get, I think, by the time we finish our release, we'll get close to around 10 different document types that can be generated using an AI on DocuHelp. But let's hear that feedback. Anyone wants to share what kind of document would you want me to generate based on all these four? And it has to come with some context, please. So please let me know. If you want to write a blog, what should the blog should be about? If you want to write a letter, what the letter should be about, if it's a product description or a contract. What
Is
do
it
you
is
think?
it is it
What?
possible I suggest on behalf of someone that is close to me?
Yes, go on.
Okay, so my mom is into hairstyling, so and I
Okay,
think she wants to go online. She's been telling me about it, asking me about how she can go online, and
okay,
I've no idea for how I can help her. So I would say maybe if I could onboard her around, creating maybe blog posts,
okay,
around hairstyling, how would Doco help be of value to her?
okay. Blog post. So let's give it styling. Let's just give it that title, and we'll say create create a blog post announcing what's mommy's name?
Bola,
Oh,
Bole.
okay. Bola hairstyles, the latest shop in Lagos. For the latest hair shop in Lagos. Let's just leave it at that. Uh, okay, and if you say generate, it's 5-10 seconds. Let's give it a minute to generate.
I'm sure she can't wait to see this one. Definitely going to send it over to her. Wow, this is
Okay,
nice.
so one of the things is so it's designed something, and I will one, you know what, the better way will be for us to download, but the way DocuUp is, because I've asked it to create it changes the background. So if you ever get this where a bit of the background changes while you're generating, just don't worry. It's just it's just the whole structure of how the website was built. So yeah, it's generated. Are you tired of the same old hairstyles? Do you want to revamp your look with trendy style here? Do you look for that Bola size cater to is here to cater for your needs? And it's got different nice things that it says. It's giving it some time, some phone numbers, where it should be, visit our website, and it's written something around the author. So, like I said, it's
Wow.
always better you edit.
Can I just jump in
So,
there? I mean,
yeah,
for what I'm seeing, it's just, I think one thing I've quickly seen or identified about this product that is just awesome is if it was for if I was to use a chat GPT, all it would have just generated would just be the basic text on
yeah,
how she could have a basic post on hairstyling. What I'm
yeah,
seeing, what your product has created here is is not just created it as the content, but it's also giving us opportunity to add images,
yeah,
opportunity to add phone numbers, opportunity to add links and buttons within.
exactly.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
and like I said, if you wanted to add proper pictures, so it's giving you some pictures, but you can always edit. So if you wanted to add proper pictures, if you had any pictures in here, you could have just gone and added. So you know what? Let me just try and
You
let
mean
me.
while creating the blog post, I can actually make edits and additions to it while still creating it?
No, it's generated it already,
Mm.
um, and I'm just now going to say, okay, I want to add. I don't have any hairstyle picture here, but let me just add this. So let's say I want to add this picture. So I could add this, and when you download this, the picture comes in with whatever you download. But if you don't want to download it, if all you just want to do is generate this and then copy it and go use it elsewhere, it also works. Although some of that also will be in our new release where you could just share this automatically to Facebook or share this automatically to Twitter or as a document or as an image. Some of that we're working on. But if so, for instance, what it has generated, let's say I don't like this because it just looks like it's repeated. So it's giving us like two options. Are you tired of old styles or not? And it gives us visitors today. It's open for business 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Walk-ins are welcome. Give us a call. Okay, it's just giving us a dash. Okay, we could say 809 486 544 just to correct the number. Um, Giving us a city, not giving us the right address. We could just edit this to make sure that we have the right address and all that. this gives us visit our website, but it's not really, it's just giving us a template, and you could come in here and add a proper link. So for this one, I could add a proper link. So instead of visit our website, I could give it www.abc.com. And then when I save this and we go to visit our website, it will actually go to your website. So it's giving us this, well, if we don't like this, which I just don't think it's just another text, we could just delete it. And then here, you've got your blog, you've got an image, you've got everything. And then you could save.
So
The only thing around this is I think this image is too big. So if I save it, it will save, it will fall to 2 pages on, you just need to make your images smaller. So let me save a smaller image, one image I know is small enough. Just give me 1 minute. So you just need to be sure that your image is not too massive. Let me just use this logo. I know this logo, the image size of this logo is small, so you could adjust. And if Bola Esther had a logo, and this was an example of the logo, this was have been. So I'll save the changes, and then I'll download, and you see how it looks in a PDF. But you could always just copy all this and share.
So in essence, now I think what I just want to like put people's mind to understand how powerful this tool is the fact that you've taken a simple prompt based on what it is you want. It's giving you a workspace to edit that which it has given to your satisfaction with regards to style, your voicing, the how you want it to look, and then allows for you to export it as a PDF, not just something that you can copy and paste like every other thing you take off ChatGPT. It not only so it takes you through that documentation and document creation process within DocuHelp itself.
Exactly.
Awesome.
And then okay, somebody's at the door. Let's let them in. Yeah. So it allows you to do all that. And once you save, you can download. And let me try and show you. And this is, let me know if you can you see the downloaded copy?
Yes.
So this is what you get. And so if you're looking to create something, you want to create a flyer that you can just share to people around what Bola Style does, generated one. Print this out, share. If you want to send it as attachment to a few people, send it as an attachment. If you want to share this on any public location, you could always do that. So that's what DocuHelp is for. Like I said, but over time,
I think I just need to reiterate how powerful that feature is, because for someone like me that uses ChatGPT a lot in various things that I do to make my work faster, I still have to go through the process of using ChatGPT and then using Google Docs also, or having to copy it and paste it into Microsoft Word to then make some edits to then from Microsoft Word then create and export into PDF. What you've done is you've combined all that into just one product, meaning you don't need to go to ChatGPT, you don't need to go to Microsoft Word, you don't need to go to spreadsheet or anything. It brings everything into one space and helps you through that document creation. Oh, that's why the reason you came up with the name DocuWeb, I'm guessing. It just helps you through the document creation process. Makes sense.
Exactly. And that's really the and aside from doing all that just for you, you can also from here share this to, so let's say anyone on so you've generated this or you want to send to a few people, Let me put your name in here. And yeah, you will receive a PDF version, this same PDF version, you will receive it. One of the things that we also that will come in some future version is, so if you've got 20 people or 30 people that this needs to go to, yeah, just whack their emails into this, separated by commas, every one of them will get it.
Oh wait, so now let's come back to my mom's hairstyling thing now. So what you're saying now is this: when she does create the blog post, she's edited it to what she thinks it makes sense to who she is and her brand.
Yeah,
She literally can share it with me and every
yeah,
other person she wants to have view it before maybe she posts it, or somebody that's even handling her social media for her can also
exactly.
be able to receive this before that posting process.
Exactly. And if and one of the other features, which was one of the major ones, was so Tunde, you've got an assistant, you've got like three or two or three people working with you, helping with content creation and all that. And they're all creating content. If they create any content, whatever they create on DocuHelp, you have that managerial power within DocuWell. So any document that anybody within your organization creates, you get to see from here. So from generated documents. This is the one I've created, but anybody who works for me, any document that is created, I get to see here. So I could just click it and say, oh, let me see what my assistant has created. Or they could create it and say, oh, sir, I've created a document. I need your approval. And you check it and say, okay, it meets my expectation. Because whatever they create, as long as you've invited them into DocWell, and whatever they create, you get to see, okay, this meets what we're saying, or no, it doesn't meet what we're saying. Then you could edit it yourself or send it back to them and say, look, this doesn't work. I need you to change this. I need you to change this. Can you create another prompt to do this? But you get to see what everybody within the organization creates within DocuHelp, and that helps you with managing stuff. So they've created it using an AI or by themselves. They need you to help review it. They need you to help approve it. Those are also some of those things that you get to do with DocuHelp. People within your organization, whatever they create, you get to see it also on that
So
generated document.
so essentially now again I'm taking it back to my mom's hairstyling business now. So
Yeah,
essentially she doesn't only have to do it by herself now. She's got a team of 3 to 4 people come together to be helping her manage this whole thing. It means that
exactly,
three the two, three, four of us can actually view all that document and edit all that document and manage the process so that at the end of the day we are in sync with whatever it is we want to deliver as a business.
exactly. It's there's that collaborative element in there
Mm.
for you to for everybody to use, for everybody to get around, and for everybody to um, own. So
Okay,
three,
sorry, I got excited just another second there. So take for instance now, I finally want to start my I want to start monetizing. I want to start making money from digital assets. And as okay, let's say I'm a painter, right? And I want to start
yeah,
teaching people how to paint or to do this painting thing a bit differently.
yes,
What you're saying now is that I could actually bring myself in. I'm the one creating it. I'm using AI
yes,
to generate it. I'm looking through it, but I could
yes,
also bring in maybe my friend who could also add some more information to what it is I've created. I could
yes,
bring in maybe even an editor, somebody who is even into editing into that same project. So what
exactly.
you're saying in essence is everyone that I need to deliver on a very great product with regards to a digital asset, whoever has to be on that thing to make my document the best of what it can be, can collaboratively work with me on that
On that document.
particular document.
That's it. Everybody that you need can. The collaboration was one of the things that we wanted in there, so that I've done this. Can you check it? Okay, yeah, it meets our expectation. No, it doesn't meet our expectation. Can we just tweak this. Now, if it's something that an AI can generate, yeah, just go ahead and generate more content and add it in. If it's something that you think, oh, you need to import from outside, yeah, you could always just generate that thing outside of it and bring it in. But yes, that's the promise of DocuHelp. Collaboration is built into the tool from the get-go.
That makes sense. I'm already sold or already bought, whichever one you're looking at from this point of view with you guys. Because again, I'm looking at it from a professional, right? You're this professional. Let's say you are, trying to turn that your professional skill into something really good, and you have ideas of what it is you want to do. What I'm seeing here, the walkthrough you've explained is so straightforward and easy, because what you've said essentially is that the person can just take an idea or a skill, formulate that into a prompt. But instead of putting on something like a chat GPT that just creates things that you have to go and edit somewhere else,
Yeah.
DocuHelp takes that prompt, generates the content, and allows for you to format that content into a document. So it's not just a copy and paste. No, it formulates it into a document. What is now formulated into a document where you can add pictures, links, and all that, you can then bring other people you think will add value to what it is I've created. So it's not like I'm creating something I think I've figured it out all by myself, or
No,
the AI has figured it out all for me. I can also
everybody
bring
can.
people together to collaborate on that document to make sure it's like superb, so that when it goes out, it actually delivers.
Yeah, reviewers, if it's people who are reviewing stuff, if it's people who are helping you to deliver on some stuff. So, for instance, if you're writing an ebook and you have an illustrator, and they've generated their own part of the illustration. Yes, you could always have just brought them in, and they attach you, they load some of their own diagrams into the tool, and then you could say, okay, yes, this goes into this goes into this page collaboratively. So yeah, those are some of the attributes and
Funny enough,
the features.
again, I'm sorry that my mind just goes in all these directions, but so many ideas are coming around what it is that you can use DocWell with. I'm even looking at it or seeing that if I am a business owner that maybe supports a particular service. So I have a business of 3 people, and we offer a particular service to our clients. It
Yeah,
means that we can also use DocuHelp to create all the digital assets, or especially digital documents that needs to be used customer to customer base. Because again, a lot of these documents, some documents are templated, like everyone receives the same thing.
yeah.
But if I want to add value, let's take for instance, I am a delivery company, or I run whatever it is, even I run as an accountant or as a lawyer, whatever it is my profession is. The moment I want to step into customizing the content that each one of my customers gets, instead of writing it out based on each customer, I could take simple information about that customer with a simple idea of what it is I want the person to do, run
Yeah.
it through DocuHelp, and it creates the documents I need for each one of that customer in short period of time, less than 10 seconds.
One of the features, just to also buttress, you're correct. One of the features that we worked on was also for instance, for law firms. So if you're generating a contract or a legal document for them, if you've written it, you can put it into DocuHelp and then get them to view it in DocuHelp and sign it within DocuHelp digitally. Now, this is something in our pipeline. There's a few flows around that we need to work out. But yes, that's also one of the promise. So you
And
could have
because of that
generated that.
thing that
Sorry.
you have there, they can join in on that document thing that they did. They can
Yes,
just
they can. They no. So the current flow now is um, so you need to start and then invite everybody to collaborate.
collaborate.
So there's that from one to many setup, but
Mm-hmm.
there's not that, okay, I'm at the bottom. And so they need to, so whatever document, if I want them to collaborate on a document, it needs to come from one of them at the bottom to me at the top. But we need there's a flow which is coming out in June, wherein if you generate a document, I can see it. If I generate a document and I want you all to see it, I just tag you all in it. But
Wow.
that's just still it's just one of the, because the business case we had when we built it from day one was it's my company. I invite you all. I see what all of you do. You don't see what I do. But if you, there's a collaborative, there's an extra collaborative mode that we're imputing into say, okay, if I want Tunde to see the document I've generated, I just need to tag Tunde because Tunde is in my company. But for
Mm.
now, I'll see what Tunde is generated because I'm Tunde's boss and is within my company. So there's just that one it actually we developed that when we built it, but we just didn't impute it because we didn't want it to be a case where a manager has generated a document and
Mm.
his subordinates are seeing it.
Yeah.
So that was why we commented it out. But now we can put it conditionally,
Yeah.
where the manager can say, okay, I want to see what I want Tunde to see this document and this document, and I just tag him in it, and he gets to see it.
So
But
there's more features.
yeah, oh yeah. There are more features to come. We have
See that
we have a dedicated developer who is always working on, because some of these were feedback that we got.
mm,
Even the images were some of the feedback that we got to say, look, I want to edit my image within it. So
mm,
if I drag an image in, I want to make it smaller, I want to make it bigger, and we just didn't we didn't. So this book, the one I'm showing on the screen, I had to go into Canva to design this.
mm,
Because all the text you see in this book was generated using DocuHelp, but the images I have to go into Canva to do. But one of the guys, one of our users who use DocuHelp for something similar, gave us that feedback and said, look, I want to use DocuHelp. I just want to bring all the images in. I've written everything in DocuHelp. Bring all the images in, size it, and have it generated out as PDF instead of me generating the text and going into Canva and then going to look for the pictures and every other thing. So we're working on that also to make sure that you can edit pictures
mm,
on within DocuHelp. But that feature around collaboration, it's just one channel, the
mm.
boss to those all. But if I want 5 people to collaborate with me on a document, I'll add all 5, generate the documents to them and say, look, you make this change, you make this change, you make this change, you make this change. And then whenever they build on, I need to now collaborate within them. But there needs to be that, okay, you make this change, but let's this person also within that chain see this document because I want them to work on it.
Awesome.
We designed it that way, but we had to switch it up because we're worried around the boss, just the lines of management
Management.
situations. Yeah.
So this book,
Okay, yeah. So this was generated all within DocuHelp. Every text that you see in here was generated using DocuHelp. All I just did was to bring in images from Unsplash and Canva to add to it. But in one of our releases, all these images you'll be able to add within DocuWeb, proper editing within DocuWeb. So you have an idea, you throw it in, and you start editing it. The entire writing the text for the book took like I said, 45 minutes. And editing it with the images also took like another 1 or 2 hours and to get it all written up. But yes, I had no knowledge of Italian restaurant, but I was able to get enough text that talks around the history, the popularity, the regions, the freshness of the food, the wine. I actually picked up a few tips about the wine. Yeah, the wine was the interesting one. There were some things I didn't know around the wine, especially this page, Chianti, Barolo, and some of those texts I was getting from DocuHelp. I was actually going to Google just to be sure that I hope this thing is not lying to me, but they were all correct.
mm,
And I was able to and now if I was researching this book, definitely it would have taken me way longer. I probably would have even given up because But it just was easy to do. All I just asked it was, okay, I want to write this kind of book. Give me the book outline, and it gave me a book outline. And once it gave me that book outline, I was able to now say, okay, yes, let's talk about popularity. Tell me about cultural influences, art of simplicity. And it just kept on generating the text that was needed. Rise of celebrities. It actually had the full names of celebrity chefs, even all the way to 2023. History of Italian food, the regions in Italy where food is grown and the freshness and all that. So, um, and this is a digital asset. This is, although I put this out on Gumroad and on Amazon under a Silvio Beretti book, it's actually not something that is hard or difficult to do. And even if and this was a book around Italian restaurants, it could have been a book around um, it could have been a story around a Brazilian couple, and you could have put it out. It sells fine. It sells. You can find it on New York Times bestseller list. It can be picked up by Netflix to be made into a movie. You just never know where your digital assets will go. But
Okay,
instead
it's true.
of procrastinating and saying, this would be a nice idea, you could sit down in a place and while you're just while instead of mindlessly scrolling on Instagram, you could be generating something that will bring you some money in the future. This I could throw at anybody at some point in the future and say, look, I've written this. Let's make a documentary around this. And they could make a documentary essentially around the topics I've raised in here. This could be the basis for a documentary, and
Hmm.
that could be you earning some revenue just
Mhm.
based on something that you sat down and did. It's the future of AI and AI tools, and it's one we should all be looking forward to.
So quickly, let me just help people get a mindset of what you've been able to achieve again. What you've done easily was to take a simple experience of you being somewhere, consume that experience, that environment or that ambience of where you were, fed that into Doc will help as a prompt. And
Yeah,
then you went through the proper process of saying, look, first of all, generate for me a content, a table of content. So it giving you the list of other prompts to then continuously create more on. Because
yes,
take, for instance, if you're creating 28 pages, you're looking at each page must have like a title or must have a central idea. So what you did was just basically say, this is where I am, or this is what I would love to talk about. Let's first of all start by creating a table of content. It generated that for you, you edited it, and then you started taking each one of that table of content, creating more content, creating more content, creating more content. And within less than, you said less than 45 minutes, you already had a 28-page book done
yeah,
within a sitting, basically.
exactly.
And then
With
you
just
then
one
took,
cup, I was
we
on
just
just one cup of coffee.
imagine with just a £3.50 cup of coffee, you've already generated the 28 page using DocuHelp. But then you then took those content and then superimposed it on images generated by Canva. So Canva just gave you those images for free. You then started placing your content on that. And then after doing that for like an hour or two, you then took all that is being created and then placed it on Gumroad
Yeah,
out there for anyone to buy. So you
anyone to buy.
monetize that experience into a digital asset within 2 hours over a cup of coffee. Now that is
Exactly,
mind blowing. That is mind blowing. It's and I think that is where I think people now need to start seeing things like the capacity to get to that place of your idea turning into a monetizable result within a short period of time is where I think everyone should be. So
exactly.
I don't know. I would say at this point in time, I mean, for anyone who ends up going through this content, I think there are two things you should start thinking of. There are two things you should start working around. The first one there is stop procrastinating. I think that one's the biggest part.
Yeah,
There's no other word to it. Just stop. You have to make an habit of being able to create digital assets. You just have to change the mindset of it's going to take a lot of time to I am going to be able to create it within 2 hours. I'm going to create it end to end within 2 hours. And it's free, it's easy, it's cheap, whatever way it is you want to look at it. It's just that accessible, to have done. Um, do you is there other things am I missing that you have not explained yet?
No, so that's it with DocWhelp and with the power of AI. I think the other thing that I just wanted to add was creating a marketing strategy
Yes,
around
that's
using
exactly
AI.
how to make it monetizable.
Yeah, how to make it monetizable. So just 1 minute. I'm trying to share. Um, I'm not sure of what screen I'm sharing, so apologies. Let me try and share again.
Mm.
Okay, yeah. So how to make it monetizable? Understanding AI in marketing. It's AI will empower you with advanced tools and capabilities to um, automate processes and personalize customer experiences. So, for instance, if it's a book, and if it's, let's say you're going somewhere tomorrow, and you need to create something for that particular set of people. You're going into a room or you're going into a class, and you need to say, well, I need to create this thing to be able to hand it or sell it to this set of people. Um, what other tool will give you that? You can personalize customer experiences. You can drive more effective and efficient marketing campaigns using that. You can also use it to analyze many vast amounts of data. You can also use it to segment and target. For instance, I've written that book around Italian restaurants. Let's say I have the opportunity of speaking to an Irish gathering of say 300 people, and I know everybody in that room will probably be able to part away with 50 or £100 or dollars. If I bring something to them, I could quickly, instantly create some content targeted at those people at the shortest of time, have it designed and completed within 2 hours, and you have a product to sell. It's one of those things in this fast and fast-paced world where you could quickly generate a content and hit it at people within a specified time. So that's one other thing to look out for. You could segment, you could target. Part of what you could also do predictive modeling. You could forecast future trends. And it's one of those things that we're working on where we say, okay, this is the trend, this is the insight. And one of the greatest things I learned today was you take data, and run it around the AI systems, and you generate insight. Businesses are always looking for insight. So you could always do that, and you could use us to understand where you're coming from and where you're going. Automated campaign management, past performance optimization. These are all stuff that you could do so that you can create a proper and effective marketing strategy, and you can execute all by using AI. DocuHelp. One of the things I did with DocuHelp, with that Italian restaurant book, was ask DocuHelp, like, okay, if I want to sell this, what do I need to do? I actually did suggest a few things I've not had time to do. But yeah, I know what I need to do to
So,
market.
what,
And if you
so what
don't
you're
know, you could always ask the AI.
So what you're saying in essence is, aside Doc will help creating the document for you, you editing it. You also then ask Doc will help to create a marketing strategy
Strategy.
around how that should have been, how you
Exactly.
end up monetizing it.
Exactly. And it's not the hardest thing to do, if I can say. You just ask it, okay, I've written this ebook around Italian restaurants. What do you suggest for marketing? And it comes up with ideas.
So I mean,
Apologies, Tunde. I might need to go. I need to just quickly pick my son again.
yeah, I think I want us to even round it up now because we've
Okay.
actually exhausted enough time to be able to explain all these things, and you've done a great job. I first of all want to like appreciate you for your time, being
Yeah.
able to explain properly and how these things work and how everything comes together. So guys, For you that end up watching this content out there at a point in time, we've explained clearly on how these things work. We've explained how to use it. I think the least thing that you need to now think of now is how do you then take the action and start executing? How do you, structure your thinking around being able to start building these things that you need to build? So, guys, it's been a great time. You could reach out to me, you could reach out to Mr. Richard and just get more if you need more support with regards to using Doku Help or with regards to being able to, achieve those kind of things you want to achieve. If there's one thing I would love to end with is to say Valued African Ventures will be opening up a lot of opportunities for people who would want to create their own professional ideas into monetizable digital assets. We're going to be launching a challenge for anyone who wants to be part of it. So, if after watching this video you say, okay, you know what, I want to take that challenge of building my own digital asset, you could connect with us on www.valuedafricanventures.info and you can have access to joining on the challenge. The challenge basically is you take action on building something around these things that you're hoping to, professional ideas you're hoping to create. And whoever ends up winning the challenge will get a freely done landing page for your business. So if you want to build it into a business, we will create for you a free landing page for your business around these kind of things that you're, hoping to build digital assets around. So it's been a great time. Thank you guys for being there. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for enjoying, this whole idea of how AI works. And we hope to see you guys with more and more of these kind of contents, more ways in which we can help each other to create some kind of income around various tools. We're talking about AI today. We might talk about another tool tomorrow. But today, it's been wonderful. I've enjoyed it. And yeah, bye to everyone. And thank you for being there. Thank you guys. Have a great day.